Alrighty then. First, I need to wait for the game to load. Which, needless to say, I had to wait for Steam to load first. Yeah. I think we're already good to go. But, yeah. Time to get going with more Phoenix Wright. Now, before I begin, I just wanted to say that a new 3DS emulator came by on the Vim website. I tried it, but I guess I didn't mess around with it enough to see if it actually did anything for me. So I will have the final say if it's worth using or not. Anyway, time to get back to Trials and Tribulations. Here we are with the first trial. And it's a good thing I saved it too. I almost didn't. Give me one moment. I realized I might not have stretched before the stream here. Alright, let's go. Yeah, it's been a long day. And I almost didn't want to do a stream today because I had labor to take care of outside. But I would be kicking myself in the shin if I missed out on getting one of these streams in. I promised I would try and do this daily. It's just the schedule is out of hand. I don't plan schedules. Apparently they plan me. Or follow someone else's agenda. Anyway. Oh my, Mr. Larice feels that way about me? Apparently, he isn't aware of your real secret at all. This is no time to be embarrassed. I'm sorry. I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing. Worry not. And in any case, whatever it was that he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him. Does that mean Mr. Larice is the witness today? No. I believe that none will be the first to take the stand. Sister Bikini. She claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. I want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Miss Elise Dunham, correct? That is correct. It wasn't me. Very well then. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? You are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed, don't worry. I've made the necessary arrangements. I see. Iris, it is a prosecutor's job to doubt people. But right now, I am a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people and to believe until the bitter end. Like my father before me. A true Jedi. That's what my friend told me once. Mr. Edgeworth, I simply ask that you watch and decide for yourself whether or not I am fit to do the task I have been entrusted. Very well, sir. I leave my defense in your capable hands. Yeah, in case you didn't know, in the Ace Attorney lore, Miles Edgeworth is the son of defense attorney Gregory Edgeworth. Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case. Indeed. I'm not sure I like such a blatant waste of this court's time. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean that the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove the case. I would say this case is already over before it had a chance to begin. I am ready to announce my verdict at this time. This court finds the defendant...
Objection!
Oh. The prosecution stands ready. And you are? Francisco von Karma, in prosecuting prodigy. Von Karma, you say? Perchance you won't be of any relation to the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma. Legends are a thing of the past. I am a von Karma. That is all. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purposes of prosecuting this case. You did? And you must be quite a big shot, eh? By the way, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor? I'm most certain that I've seen you somewhere before, or am I just imagining things? You look very much like a prosecutor I met once. I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor. Miss Von Karma, do you have anything to say? There is no such weakling as this man among those of the prosecutor's office. There isn't, but I'm sure once before in this court, I told you, there is no such weakling. What is that? A whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing in my courtroom. Bailiff, remove that whip and...
Hold it!
I have no objection to the whip. You don't? The prosecution can wield a whip or drink 17 cups of coffee. But there is still only one truth. That is what I stand here to prove today. This promises to be interesting, Miles Edgeworth. I had expected to face Phoenix right here today. But looking at you now, maybe this is what I've been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you slip through my fingers. I see you brought your flair for the histrionic. Allow me to add to the things I'm not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court. The stage is set. Now continue with the proceedings, Your Honor. Very well. Mr. Von Connor, please give an outline of this case, with as little weapon as possible. The murder victim is the famed picture book author, Mr. Lee Stoneham. Her body was found in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue. The sword in this picture is the weapon in question, correct? Very well, the court accepts this photo of the crime scene. There's no mistake. This was the doing of Sister Isis. After all, there is a witness to a crime. Very well. Please bring this witness to the stand. So it begins, my first and last trial as a defense attorney. Witness, state your name and occupation, please. Hold on here. I'm not sure about being not sure if I care for this at all. Witness, please stand up nice and straight. If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for our back pain plagued witness. Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please. Once again, your name and occupation, please. Later on me. Well, I'm the head nun of Hazakura Temple on Old Mountain. My name is Bikini. Got it? Bikini. Nice to meet everyone. But you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. The courtroom is the garden of holy judgment. Those with lechery in their hearts should leave this sanctuary at once. You want me to leave? No need to get your bikinis in a twist. Let me tell you, I'm a sight to behold in summer. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. But that's right. I can still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. Well, stick to what was it? Yeah, Phoenix Wright Dual Destinies, or rather the DLC case if you actually want a character like that in a pirate costume that could almost fit the bill for what you're trying to look for here. Anyway, there's no way dear little Iris could do anything like that. Let us hear what you had to say then. First, tell us about your own movements that night, eh? At night, I was helping an old acolyte with training in the inner temple, but... well, as you can see, my bag likes to act up violently. So I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long, hot soak. It was after I had finished, and I was heading back. That's when I saw it! So it was simply coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hazakura Temple? Yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been in so much pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple. That sounds like a pretty important statement she just made. There's only one problem with this testimony that I can see. And you're not about to fall at the first hurdle now, are you, Miles Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination. It's just so we can get right to it. Yeah, we're not even there yet. Let's just go right to it. Third statement. Or rather, Iris's testament with the thing. We can just go right to it. Testimony, right here. Bam! Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on their powers of authorization and memory, after all. Well, don't worry. I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head honcho of the Hazakura Temple. In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all. No, she said that. A defendant or a witness? Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? The defendant is simply lying to cover her back. But that is completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make for a much better alibi. But that is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie. She does indeed have honest eyes. All people lie, that is my belief. Why am I the only one being whooped in here? Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie, which means we must call your memories into question. Dear, you're older than me, and yet you want to play that game, do you? Well, that isn't exactly what My memory is perfect, and crystal clear, especially in winter. Then I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you're going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show me a more decisive piece of evidence. Understood, Your Honor. I was naive to think that alone would do the trick. Then please add your comments about Iris to the testimony, and let us return to the cross-examination. Okay, this is a new one. Iris came to the inner temple. She was dressed exactly as she had been at dinner. So, here's something that was missing. Gotcha! Witness, let's get one thing straight. The defendant whom you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon-warding hood, correct? Of course. That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wait a minute.
Objection!
Hold it right there. Why do you have that? That's the question of the day now, isn't it, Miss Von Karma? I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night, before the lights out bell was rung. What? You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, then the iris she saw should have been missing this very hood. Well. It's not a bad feeling at all, exposing the contradictions like this. Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. Order in the court with this... Sister, this hood, you have spare ones around the temple, don't you? Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them. I see, it's stocked by a surplus of hoods, eh? And each nun is only given one hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned. Then this is quite strange. If there was a surplus of hoods, then she could have worn one of those. There's no contradiction here. I'm sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. The seeds of doubt. Witness, while I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt, you must give every detail with precision. I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this. Sister, you shall continue with their testimony. Tell us what you saw at that gift in finishing your bath on your way back to the inner temple. Her seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. It just need a little more simulation to bear fruit. Contradictionary stimulation. I finished my bath around 11 and thought I should return to the inner temple. As I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look and Iris was all Mystic Elise, and with that sword of all things. Mystic Elise was staying in the corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of the window. You saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, then it would be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in two in court, and me seeing it all from this very chair. Well, something like that. This judge, his imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I would look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours? Let's go back to the final one. Yeah, I doubt that. Press X and doubt here.
Objection!
Impressive logic. That's what I'd like to say anyway. Oh, please do. My brain is something else, especially in winter. However, I think you are overlooking on one thing. Miss Von Karma, will you be so kind as to take another look at the autopsy report? The autopsy report. The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed. That's right, it says after death right here. The scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. If the defendant stand and killed the victim there in the courtyard, how did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall? Order! The victim was killed and then fell. If that is the case, then the victim must have been killed in a room, don't you agree? That is the logical conclusion, yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed down by the defendant in her own room, and then she was thrown out of her window down into the courtyard below. Were there any signs of a struggle in Miss Donham's room? She was stabbed with a sword. That would leave a blood stain. Wouldn't you agree? Well, Mr. Von Karma, was there any blood? No traces of blood were found in the victim's room. Your whip has just caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff field. However, if there was no blood in the room, then claim that. I'm sure there's no need for me to go over this, as I'm sure Your Honor is well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood. When it produces the most blood, very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blood's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. Indeed, with the weapon still in place, it acts like a lid on the wound. That's true. With the weapon still in the body, there won't be much bleeding. A perfectly reasonable line of thinking. We'll come to a conclusion then. The victim was thrown out of the window with the sword still in place. This removes all the contradictions. Order! I must admit that this is a probable version of events. I expect no less from Franziska Von Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point. It seems that we need a clearer testimony from the witness. Remove all supposition on your part and tell us only the facts, please. Witness, please, remain standing on the crate. Don't go selling me short now. The weight of winter snow has bent me out of shape, especially my back and my mood. Sister, please, give us your testimony. I will give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here. With the whip? You got a twisted way of thinking there, Von Karma. Oh boy. Alright. A twisted way of thinking indeed. Okay, number 3. When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Miss Elise. I've never seen so much blood before. It's when I fainted, and you can't blame me, can you? And when I awoke, Mr. Ami... was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back. This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory. Von Karma strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth. Perfection is an impossibility, Francisca Von Karma. And I'm here to teach you just that. Statement number 3.
Hold it!
So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood? That's right. Some of it had splattered onto Iris too when the defendant was arrested. She was meditating in a room, and her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in the corner. What? Her clothes were blood-flecked as well? That seems quite conclusive to me. What should I do? Press this point further? I have to. Going back to your previous statement. You said that you saw little bleeding when the victim was stabbed. But now you say you saw the victim bleeding. Well, I saw, then what I saw, I say that what I saw is what I saw. What did you say? Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her plain as day. Pulling the sword out. Well, it wasn't exactly pulling. It was more like it came out. Witness, you will add this statement to your testimony. Oh, was that important? More important than you can imagine. Okay. I believe this is where it comes into play. I present the sheath toe.
Objection!
Sister Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least I'd like to think so. But there are too many contradictions here. What do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar. But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. What contradictions are you talking about? In the scene that the witness claims to have seen. The weapon was thrust upon its hilt into the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of these are complete impossibilities. What do you mean? Please explain it. Explain yourself. To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone to the hilt with this? No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for that. Doesn't appear? What meaningless dribble. I too may appear to be weak and frail, but I can crush men under my heel and make them whip, so should I so choose. The objection stands. I whipped a little bit there, back there, I must admit. That isn't the only issue here. If this sword was truly stabbed into the body up to the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. It certainly wouldn't come out smoothly. We also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It was true that when a blade is left in a body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when a weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding. It's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victim was stabbed with a sheath toe. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly, and may still sometimes stop the blood loss. I'm not finished. There's still one more. Conclusive contradiction. Which is... Oh, come on, man. If you're gonna come right and say it, at least come around right and say it. Although, as a given understanding, I can't help but feel it was the roundabout way of thinking that. Perhaps I shouldn't have done that. If you'll allow me to make a countermeasure, here we go. You still got one more. This one is simple. If this sword really was thrust in all the way to the hilt, why is there only blood on the tip of it? If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood along the entire length of the sword. No! Yikes! That was sudden. Bravo, Miles Edgeworth, raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence. All the other attorneys I know could maybe manage one, if that. But what does this all mean? You've proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but haven't covered this far. There can only be one answer, and that is, the weapon used to kill the victim was not the shisto. What? A foolish idea, a foolishly foolish idea born for the foolish mind of a foolhardy foolish fool. Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think this sword was the murder weapon? Okay, I better get this in fast. So why is it all twisted? That ain't right. You're gonna have a good reason for this. Well, it's because Mystic Army was holding it. Exactly. However, if you reflect on this, that is the only basis we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was just too strong. That is what influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the shisto was the murder weapon. Hold her! So maybe the shisto was not the murder weapon. Even then, if that is the case, it changes nothing in Miles Edgeworth. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object. That's two. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth? That is so. I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises. The obvious question? Yes. Namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to? It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us to as if a sword-like object was found. Answer the question, Miss Von Coma. No evidence of that kind was found. Another mystery to throw onto the pile. A trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast. Excuse me, could I say something? I just remembered something actually. What is it, sister? I was just thinking. It's possible that just maybe what actually happened was it was just over there. What exactly are you going on about here? The murder weapon, I mean, maybe. I think I might know where the sword was disposed of. You what? Well then. I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister. Impossible. What else could this old woman have seen? Oh, I'll get into it now. I saw the murder at around 11 p.m. and after asking that it would be reported, I went out to the main gate. And there I saw tracks. Tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She can drive a certain snowmobile after all. Witness, please tell us everything you know right away next time. Well, I'm not in the best of shape. With my back and my age, you know. Quite. There were indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate. Here's a photograph. A snowmobile, eh? I see. Well, it certainly is an interesting theory. The tracks begin in front of the Hazakura Temple and run all the way to Dusky Bridge. That solves your pesky little problem, yes? The Eagle River's current is quite swift, meaning it doesn't freeze over in winter, making it the perfect place to dispose of the murder weapon. Did she really go to the river to dispose of the murder weapon? Mr. Edgeworth, your cross-examination, please. Well then, statement number 5. I believe this should be the right one. Alright, this is it.
Objection!
BAM! I admit this photograph proves something. It proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder. You finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth. However, if what the witness says is true, then why is there only one set of tracks? What do you mean? Iris left Hazakura Temple, threw the weapon into the river, and then returned. If this was the case, then naturally these should be in 2 sets of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge, and those from coming back. You're right. You are forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall. This removes your precious contradiction now, doesn't it? I see. While she was at the river, the snow stopped, leaving just the return tracks in the snow. What do you have to say now, Miles Edgeworth? Is there a flaw in their theory? This idea that the snowfall covered one set of tracks? Yeah. I can't quite put my finger that this is not the case. Clearly. The tracks into the river were covered by snow. Quite a nice theory. However, Miss Von Karma, that is impossible. Would you care to explain why there is a rude index finger generally pointed in my general direction? No need. The evidence will do all the talking for me. On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from Dusky Bridge, and in order to dispose of the murder weapon, the outgoing tracks were erased by snow. Also claims Miss Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth, present your evidence to the contrary, eh? Evidence that the outgoing tracks were not covered by snow. Weather data. Right here.
Take that!
Would this please tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime? Like I said, it was around 11. Of course, this means that the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? On that note, please take a look at this data. It is the weather report for Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder. The weather report, the snow started to fall at 7 p.m., but it stopped around 10:50. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11 p.m., the snow had already stopped falling. It is impossible for tracks made after that time to have been covered up. Order! Very well then. It looks like Miss Von Karma's claim has been snowed in. What? It's too soon to be closing this trial due to snow. There isn't going to be a snow day in here. This isn't school, you know. Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather of all things. Answer me this then. When is a weather report ever correct? Oh, no, you got it all wrong. This isn't the forecast. This is actual data. Forecast data. All weather reports have some inaccuracies. It may have still been snowing in the vicinity well past 11 p.m. It's true. We cannot be totally sure, eh? What? How did she pull that off? It had stopped snowing in Hazakura Temple when the murder took place. You need to provide conclusive evidence of this. I've come this far. There's no turning back now. Very well. I too cannot allow any doubt to remain concerning this testimony. You can't back down, can you? Such a perfectionist, Miles Edgeworth. Very well then, Mr. Edgeworth. Where is your evidence that it had already stopped snowing when the victim was killed? Looking for the crime photo. Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being, whether or not it was snowing in the courtyard when the victim was stabbed. That's right, but proving that is incredibly easy. If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I am referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything is covered with snow, with just one exception, and that is the victim herself, Miss Elise Donut. Why is there no snow on top of her? Well, the answer is simple. It had stopped snowing when she was killed, that's why. In other words, if the killer really did go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then in this photograph there should be 2 sets of tracks. Order! Just what are you suggesting, Miles Edgeworth? To be honest, I am not entirely sure myself, but this is certainly what all the facts point to. That night, someone used the snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple. From the tracks left, it couldn't be understood that they were heading for Dusky Bridge. At that time, it was still snowing. Of course it was, because those tracks were erased by the snow. And when this person returned to Hazakura Temple, the snow had stopped. Thus, the return tracks remained. Can I say something? This all sounds a bit fishy to me. What does, sister? There's only one key for the snowmobile. Furthermore, on the night in question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in a room after the murder, which can only mean that night, Iris used the snowmobile to go to the inner temple. But Iris said that she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance. The snowmobile can't cross the suspension bridge, so she must have left it on the Hazakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot. That sounds right. But what's odd is when I left Iris and returned to the Hazakura Temple, I didn't see anything near Dusky Bridge. You must have just failed to see it, sister. Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there, by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. I know when I saw it was covered in snow too. But that is impossible! Order then, court! What does this all mean? So then what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the inner temple. If it happened, then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be 2 sets of tracks in this photo. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. I never thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble. I think we've learned all we can from this witness. Yes, I've nothing more to add. I told you everything. Everything that I know. But then, that still leaves us with the same problem. If only there was someone, a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile. A witness, huh? Was there no one else walking perhaps near Dusky Bridge on that night? I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out and wandering in that, unless he had something really important to do. That's a shame. Hold on, something is coming to me. An idiot may well have gone wandering out on that subarctic night. Your Honor, actually, there just might be one individual who may be of help to us. Really? You know of someone who might have seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder. I don't know for sure if he saw it for night or not, but there are 2 things about him that do come to mind. Which are, first, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder. And the second being, This individual that I am thinking of went wandering outside on that cold night. In other words, he is our kind of idiot. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this idiot you're talking about? This guy. This guy must be a product of Jean-Luc Deluduc's Guide to Obvious French Painting. This is Larry Potts, a disciple of the victim Elise Donham. A student? Interesting. And why was he wandering about the outside on the night of the murder? I could tell them all about his designs for Iris, but it may cost his credibility as a witness before I even call him. He is, after all, an artist. He was perhaps searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him, although I cannot guarantee that this is the reason. And so, this unfortunate, unreliable-looking man, what exactly was it that he saw? I intend to extract that from him right here in this courtroom. Summon this youth as a witness immediately. I have no choice, do I? I believe he is in the gallery for this trial. It will not take him long to summon him. Very well. Larry, you may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm going to get everything out of you. The court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Miss Von Karma, please see to preparing the next witness. Understood, Your Honor. Good. Well then, court is now in recess. I'm still good to go. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm not really sure what to say, Iris. We only have 20 minutes. There are two things which I need to ask you before we reconvene. Alright, I'll help you any way I can. First, about that night. You really didn't go to the inner temple, correct? The last witness claims to have met and talked with you in a training hall. Either you or Sister Bikini is lying. Mr. Edgeworth, it is just as I said yesterday. Until the incident occurred, I was in my own room in Hazakura Temple. Very well. The second thing then. At night, the temple snowmobile was used in between the times Sister Bikini returned to the main hall and when she bore witness to the murder. Sometime between 10:30 and 11 p.m. that night. Were you the one who used the snowmobile? There was only one key for the snowmobile. The only person who could have used it was me. So it was you. But why? What made you go out to Dusky Bridge? I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh dear. Iris. I can't tell you about that yet. Yet? Not until her safety is confirmed. Her? The safety of the acolyte. The acolyte, huh? She must be talking about Maya. Iris, look me in the eye and tell me the truth. Did you kill Elise Donham? No matter who or what may come, I could never take a life. As I thought, no Cyclops. Very well. It is my job to get the truth. You'll discover this for yourself soon enough. court will now reconvene. Miss Von Karma, where is the witness? During the break, a man was detained for suspicious behavior in the gallery. Suspicious behavior? He was sketching something very intensely. Dare I ask what the witness was sketching when he was detained? He drew a terrifying woman, armed with a demonic face and a vicious whip. I can only presume that his intention was to capture it. Anyway, it's time to drag this pathetic excuse for an artist before the court. Laurie Stoneham, I hope you're ready. Get in here. It would seem that whip is going to see plenty more use today. Ouch! Your sketch is in contempt of this court. Hey! I was just artistically recording. Ouch! You're trying to run away from the bailiff who was trying to hand you your subpoena, correct? Look! I'm nothing but a fledgling artist training out in the mountains. I'm only down here in the city because I ran out of green paint. Well, to use a technical term for the color, viridian. Larry, this isn't an art store, now is it? I know! I graduated junior high, okay? Look, art is all about working in the fields, isn't it? Working out in the fields? I presume he wanted to say field work, I hope. That's it, thanks, buddy! It's kinda sad that I was able to understand his mangled train wreck of a sentence. I just happened to stop in here and find a wonderful new model. So see, I've got nothing to do with this trial at all. I expect all your faces to be red when you realize this mistake. Bright red, or to use the technical term, crimson lake. Ouch! Ow, 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 ouch, 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 ouch! Stop your pathetic blabbering and testify like a man. Refrain from whipping me, Miss Von Karma. Cross-whipping is as bad as cross-checking. Witness, that was all your fault, and testify now. This is too much for me. Oh boy. I was out to lunch out in the mountains, looking up at the stars at night. Well, I walked to the bridge a number of times, but I didn't see a snowmobile. I didn't see anyone at the bridge at night either. The girl I was waiting for didn't show up. My teacher died on me. I'm all alone now, aren't I, Angie? Witness, please refrain from talking directly to the lawyers during your testimony. I'm just a nobody, nothing but a small worthless man, aren't I? And why wasn't I asked for my name and occupation, or anything else? Mr. Edgeworth, this man seems to have quite a severe inferiority complex. He's recently been the cause of numerous incidents. I think he's finally realized for himself just how much of a nuisance he has been to other people. Yeah, that's right. I'm behind everything, every case. Watch out, okay? Just touching me will make you internally unhappy. Well then, let us proceed with the cross-examination. With no touching, thank you. We can delve into other details at a later time. TMI there, bro. TMI. We don't need to waste time with this bunch of nonsense. Yes, you did.
Objection!
Larry Butts, I can understand why you might want to throw your old life away. You're pretty pathetic, and you cause all sorts of trouble. I'm sorry, but haven't realized just how much of a nuisance you have been that could be considered a step in the right direction. Edgy, are you trying to console me? It certainly doesn't sound that way to me. However, I cannot forgive you for simply turning away from the incidents you create. What? You're totally pinning this on me. Now then, let us talk about the night of the murder. Sister Bikini, after seeing the murder take place, asked Phoenix White to report it. Thus, he headed for the public phone by the bridge. There, he happened across a certain nefarious individual. You, Larry Butts. That's right, me in the flesh. Listen carefully, witness. It doesn't matter if you change your name. So long as you remain pretty pathetic, you will continue to cause these incidents. And reality will not change. But what do you want me to do then? Larry, what you need to do, what you need to change is your inner self. But for now, what you saw that night, testifying truthfully about the one issue is all I need from you. Edgy, I think I've finally woken up. Well, I guess I could still be sleeping. But anyway, I'll do it. I'll testify. Well, I'm not sure this will go especially well. I'll ask again then, witness. What did you see on the night of the murder? Statement number 4. I was lying under my bedding when a white flash almost blinded me. I looked out the window and Dusky Bridge was on fire. There was still some thunder, but I went right away to check it out. That's when I ran into Nick. You certainly saw quite a lot, didn't you? So, what happened to the bridge after it caught on fire? It was like me after a 3-day stint chasing a girl. It totally burned out. Like, almost totally gone. I mean, trying to cross the burning remains was what caused Nick to fall. What did you say? Oh, don't worry. It's nothing life-threatening. He just caught a cold. I never know that with that man if he could be called lucky or unlucky. Now, Mr. Edgeworth, please commence your cross-examination. Well, I accidentally did miss the first statement. So, I went to the shack at around 9, so it would have been about 10:30 p.m. That's not what I want. Alright, let's hear it. What do you have to say? You said right away, but exactly how long after the strike was that? The lightning fell and then the bridge caught on fire. Maybe around 5 minutes? I mean, I suddenly thought I gotta go check this out. How far is this small shack you were in front of the bridge? Hold on. Well, it had pretty much stopped snowing. I guess about a 5-minute walk. And how did Dusky Bridge look when you got there? look, I had recovered a piece of my childhood. I mean, not even the bonfires kids make during school camping trips can compare. Well, should I press him for a little more info? Yeah. Larry, let me ask you one thing. What is it, Edgy? What's with the serious face? Why didn't you call anyone? Huh? What do you mean? Normally, when faced with a towering inferno, one would try to call one would try and tell someone. There's a public phone right by Dusky Bridge, correct? Well, of course I thought of doing that. So then, let's hear why you didn't. Huh? Yeah, okay, a reason. My reason is that I didn't try to tell anyone. I just didn't have time to, okay? Oh. Alright. Let's see it. Weather data. Your very existence being a contradiction. I'm not sure if you can grasp this or not. What the hey, Edgy? You make me sound like some sort of alien. But your testimony is conclusively contradictionary. The problem here is time. I've never been the best timekeeper, you know. 3 minutes after Billy leaves on foot, you follow him on your bicycle. How long does it take for you to catch up with him? Terrible at those. This is much more simple. You saw the lightning strike Dusky Bridge, and immediately went to see what had happened. Is this correct? Yeah, well, I wasted about 5 minutes first, but more or less. I have eaten the weather data from the night of the murder here. According to this, the lightning fell at 10:45 p.m. You say it takes less than 5 minutes from the shack to Dusky Bridge, meaning you probably got there at around 11 p.m. That all sounds about right, I guess. And then Nick showed up and did his fallen act. That is impossible. What do you mean? 11 p.m. is when the murder occurred in Hazakura Temple. Thus, Wright was still there in the courtyard. There is no way that Larry could have encountered him at Dusky Bridge at that time. Excuse me, I have an objection. You do? Edgy, how many times do I have to say this? I'm not Larry, I'm Lonnie Stoner. It has not been proven that the murder occurred at 11 p.m. The sister only said around 11, in which case, it could have been earlier than that. Watch your footing there, Miss Franziska von Karma. The slope ahead is slippery, for there is still no way that Wright could have been at Dusky Bridge at 11 p.m. And why not? It is clearly written here in the weather data report. It took around 30 minutes for the bridge to burn out. Therefore, the bridge must have been burning until at least 11:15 p.m. Which means what exactly? Wright did not see the bridge while it was being consumed by the flames at night. In fact, he did not arrive on the scene until after the flames had died down. Larry, you arrived at the bridge at 11 p.m., but Wright did not make it there until at least 11:15. I suggest you to stop hiding things and just tell us the whole truth. Now then, what happened during these missing 15 minutes? I feel like I just got brutally woken up by toilet splashback. I guess I was still sleeping after all. Pitch me. Order! So there was a missing 15 minutes prior to meeting Phoenix Wright. I hardly see that as much of a problem. Yeah, not much of a problem at all. Really? The bridge is burning before your eyes, and there is a phone right next to it. Why then did you not report the accident? Yes, witness. Why didn't you? Were you there simply to watch the bridge burn? And therein lies the problem. For even after the bridge had burned out, he was still there. Staring into space, this witness didn't even attempt to fulfill his civic duty. Yeah, the duty means poop. Get over it. That's what it sounds like. But this is Larry we are talking about. And even he is incapable of being so stupid. Which means there's to be a reason for his inaction. Edgy, I think it's about time I got serious with you, dude. Just as I thought. You've been playing with us all this time. Listen, I'm going to tell you everything. Are you sure you want to hear it all? Yes. I may really say it this time. Everything. And say it. Very well. I have a terribly bad feeling about this. However, let's have the witness finally give us the whole truth. No, for this 15-minute gap, what were you doing, witness? I'm a donor. I'm an artist. What do you think I was doing? Sketching in front of the bridge. I was whipped up into a frenzy of art. The shock and all that I was feeling, I transferred it all directly onto the page. Before I realized it, the flames had gone out, and then he came running up. I suppose artists can be strange folk. That's right. That's right. I'm willing to sacrifice everything in order to draw the perfect sketch, including the truth from the sound of it. Mr. Edgeworth, has this removed the last of your doubts? Not at all, Your Honor. One very large doubt still remains. And what would that be? This is a surprisingly believable story, especially considering the source. So why did he think he needed to hide it from us until now? I intend to drag the reason out of him. Hey there, Shadow Fox. Good to see you and all. Yeah. You'll regret this, Edgy. I don't want this nobody in my chat room. How this stuff keeps eluding my space is something I'll never fully understand. But that's that. This is this. I'll tell you what you're gonna get away from me. Why the hell would that be a thing? You'll regret this, Edgy! I'm a donut. Oh, right. Yeah, that is. Where am I? Second statement. Wait a minute, yeah. Let's get to this sketch of yours. Something amazing. Something incredible you talked about. Sketching the burning bridge. The burning bridge and everything that came with it. What came with it? You want to hear hear this from my lips, do you, Edgy? You'll regret this. That sketch of mine is enough. Just take that ridiculous sketch out of yours out already, witness. What are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. That does indeed appear to be the fastest solution. I'll leave it to you, Mr. Edgeworth. What should I do? I've got a terrible feeling that the instant this sketch is revealed, the entire world may be changed by what is depicted there. Larry, I wonder if you could show us your sketch, please? Well, even I couldn't have imagined it would turn out like this. Imagine what? And Laurie Stoneham's debut would take place here today like this. Ouch! Show it now. Okay, but still yourselves. This is the world of Laurie Stoneham. Well, so this is Dusky Bridge, correct? Quite a large bridge, isn't it? Your response, Miss Funcomma? Yes, well, it's a better drawing than I expected. Isn't it? I struggled to reproduce those flames, I really did. Yes, I'm sure you did. This is going to get ugly. No one has the courage to bring it up, it seems. This mysterious flying object. Larry. What? The burning bridge is fine. But what is that unfortunate looking figure? You spotted that? I thought you might. However much I might want to ignore it, I can't. It's Iris, of course, Iris! I wish she'd take better care of herself. We have to plan for our future, you know. What would have happened to her if she had injured herself flying like that? Larry, please, answer this next question honestly. Okay, are you really claiming to have seen this? Are you claiming to have seen the silhouette of the defendant flying over a bridge that was engulfed in flames? Yup, that's what I saw. That's why you drew it. I'm an artist, a real artist. Are you hurry the girl? She's really high up in his picture. What was that for? This is all a bad dream. I was hitting you on the cheek to test that theory. Please whip your own cheeks from now on if you wish to test your world theories. Anyway, no court of law will ever acknowledge that people can fly. Actually, there is some precedent for this. She was flying pretty high, my sweet Iris. She was about 30 feet above the bridge at least. It was really something to see. This is to be some kind of mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, please bring the witness back down to earth. What, me? This witness is your friend, is he not? Accessory to foolishness, Miles Edgeworth. Let us get back to the cross-examination by force if necessary. Mr. Edgeworth, I expect you to expose the obvious contradiction here. Yes, Your Honor. Looks like I got another reason to remember this moron. Well, what do you think about my debut piece? Get that thing away from me! Now hurry up and cross-examine him. Okay, I really don't have to go into this. So, I think it's obvious what should be the end result of this whole thing. It's the thing. Larry, what did you really see that night? Not that I particularly care. In your position, that's just being irresponsible. I drew exactly what I saw. I'll give you a whole dollar if that it's the truth. If that is truly the case, then there is one thing that we can say for certain. What might that be? That the person who flew over the bridge could not have been the defendant Iris. What do you mean? I don't understand. A foolhardy folly of a foolish statement by an equally foolishly foolhardy fool. How exactly can you make this claim? Tell us, Larry. According to this picture, the individual whom you say you saw was wearing a hood, correct? Of course he was! The rundown shack is quite away from the bridge. The hood is what told me that this floating angel was my Iris! A hood is my darling Iris, and Iris is my darling hood! It seems that there are bigger fools in this world than the one at the defense's bench. Larry, there's something that you need to be made aware of. On the night of the murder, Iris wasn't wearing her hood. She had given it to Wright as a gift. Are you going to change your story now? Perhaps it's just it was Wright who took flight. What are you talking about? I think you understand what I mean just fine. Why? Why did Nick have Iris's hood? What? Edgy! What's going on with Iris and Nick? Wait, you Nick? You dog? I do believe that this unbelievably mysterious sketch is destined to disappear, discredited, and discarded. Straight into the garbage. What is it now, witness? It feels like I've been waiting 25 years for this very day to come. Edgy, today is the day I get to completely stupefy you. What? What is the meaning of your outburst, witness? I hate to have to do this, but I have some definitive evidence. Definitive evidence? Iris did indeed come flying over the bridge, burning bridge. And I, Maurice Dornham, shall prove it! I didn't expect to ask this again, but we shall be needing your testimony once again. Tell us anything you know concerning the defendant as depicted in the sketch, and show us your evidence that this nightmare was actually a reality. Okay, I hope you're ready, Edgy, because I'm going to feed you a whopping serving of pain! You've been serving us a whopping serving of pain this whole time. Trust me. When I reached the Dusky Bridge, she was already gone. I was so worried, so I frantically searched all over for her. That led me to finding a beautiful crystal spear, half buried in the snow. I'm sure that Iris was simply wearing a spare hood. After all, no one else could have lost the crystal spear in that night. Okay, I think this was part of that, So, a crystal spear? This one. Pretty, isn't it? But finders keepers. That spear. Where did you find it? Let me see. Around here somewhere? Looks about right. And it was half buried in the snow. It had pretty much stopped snowing by then. But there was some falling as I walked to the bridge. The court accepts this crystal spear. That's mine, okay? I want it back afterward. There's something on it. Oh my, it's blood. What? Blood? You ready, Itchy? By tomorrow morning, you'll be calling me Master Larry. Yeah, I like the sound of that. No one's going to push me around anymore. Didn't you want to be called Lori Stoneham only a few minutes ago? And one step closer to figuring things out as it should. As twisted as it sounds. Well, here it is. To present the staff.
Objection!
Larry, that night, there was someone who lost the crystal spear. There was, who was the stupid idiot? Miss Elise Donham, the mentor to a stupid idiot. The victim? I have a photo of her here. And on the end of her staff, you can see a familiar looking crystal spear. Hey, that's my photograph! Give it back! Ouch! A crystal spear like that is quite easy to find. I have just one just like it on my brooch. It looked nothing alike. In any case, please take a look at this. This is the victim's staff, found at the scene of the crime. The crystal spear is gone. What? What? Just what does this mean? And if anyone jumped or flew across the bridge at night, it certainly was not Iris. After all, she was not wearing her hood. More importantly, the crystal spear found at the landing site was not hers either. That means the one who flew and dropped the spear was the victim, Miss Elise Donham? A fool alongside another fool on a fool's errand to reach a foolish conclusion. First of all, the sketch, which I prefer to call a scribble, is ridiculous. People cannot fly, thus it is rejected. Can't do that, I saw it with my own 2 eyes. And this crystal spear, this is nothing more than a red herring. You honestly believe that? Give it some thought and I'm sure you'll realize it. And as well, Miles Edgeworth, Elise Stoneham was in her room on the night of the murder. There was no reason for her to go to Dusky Bridge. Therefore, this spear cannot be related to this case. That is all. Miss Francisca von Karma, the only people who will accept that explanation are scatterbrains and clowns. Why are you pointing at me? The victim's crystal spear was found near the bridge on the night of her murder. And yet you expect us to believe that has nothing to do with the case? The crystal spear. It was probably thrown away at the bridge after the murder. After the murder? Ugh, this is so annoying, it's making me feel real messed up right now. I can't understand why it keeps happening. There's blood on the crystal spear, isn't there? This naturally suggests that it was thrown away after the murder took place. The killer placed it there to throw out the investigation of the sin, which is the exact same reason that he drew that ridiculous sketch. What? You mean I'm the killer? No way! Oh, joking aside, just when did the crystal spear appear near the foot of the bridge? Unless this can be proven in some way, I refuse to believe this is related to the case. She makes a valid point. There is no evidence that Elise Stoneham left Hazakura Temple that night. However, if somehow this crystal spear can be proven to have been dropped before the victim was killed, then this case is going to transform into something else entirely. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth. I want your final opinion on this disposition of this crystal spear. If it is not related to the case, then this witness, who you called, will have been nothing more than a monumental waste of time. Prepare yourself for some very appropriate punishment, Miles Edgeworth. Can I prove it? Can I prove that the crystal spear was dropped before the murder took place? Can I prove it? That isn't the issue. To simply prove it. That's the only option. That's what he'd do. That's the way Phoenix Wright would do this. Your Honor, allow me to prove something to you. I will prove that this crystal spear is a vital link to solving this case. You would do what? That look in your eyes. You remind me of Phoenix Wright and when he is cornered. That should come as no surprise. Because right now I am in Phoenix Wright and I am indeed cornered. I order you to present your evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Evidence that proves that the crystal spear was indeed dropped before the murder. Okay.
Take that!
This crystal spear. It was half buried in the snow, correct? That's right. If it hadn't stopped snowing, and then it would have been game over. The snow would have totally covered it. And that's all I needed to hear from you, Larry. Your testimony makes one thing quite clear. What? When the crystal spear was dropped, it was snowing. Even if it was ever so slightly. Snowing, on the other hand, let us look at the scene of the murder. As proven earlier today, there is no snow on the victim's body. Therefore, the crystal spear must have been dropped before the murder. What? Order! On the night of the murder, the victim did indeed go to Dusky Bridge, and there something occurred that caused this crystal spear to come loose. But what could have that been? The spear. There's some blood on it, isn't there? Allow me to raise a certain possibility at this conjunction. The real crime scene was near the foot of Dusky Bridge. The murder didn't take place in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. Only a fool would suggest such a foolish piece of absolute foolishness. Just who is the fool? And which part is so foolish, Miss Von Karma? Have you been paying any attention this whole time, Miles Edgeworth? His sister saw everything. She saw the victim being killed by the defendant in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. That's not exactly true, now is it? To put it more precisely, what she saw was the murder weapon being removed from the victim's body. That's the same thing. No, it isn't. You said it yourself. Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of the blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. If that statement is the truth, then Dusky Bridge could very easily be the scene of the murder. The murder weapon was not removed. Thus, there was no bleeding. You are forgetting one vital thing, Miles Edgeworth. Elise Donham's body was found in Hazakura Temple. On foot, it takes 15 minutes to travel from Dusky Bridge to Hazakura Temple. You mean to suggest someone carried the body all that way? I've made it this far. The only place to take this is to the end. I just need to prove that my version of the events is also perfectly plausible. Now, if the defense is ready, the court would like to have an explanation. Please show us the method by which the victim's body was carried to Hazakura Temple. Isn't it obvious? I mean, I don't see it, but... Wait a minute! You gotta be kidding me! Tracks. Making tracks. On that snowy night, there is one way that a body could have been moved. The snowmobile. As we know, the snowmobile was used that night. It was explained as having been used to dispose of the murder weapon, but it could have also been used to carry a body. Order, God! This is completely unacceptable, Miles Edgeworth. You've dug yourself into your own grave. What do you mean? Well, anyone who could have been used the snowmobile was the defendant. She's the one who moved the body. Doesn't that put the final nail in your coffin? You're too late, Franziska von Karma. And in fact, the defense has proven something else entirely. We have shown it that this case requires further investigation. What? Where was the victim Elise Donham really killed? If her body was moved, whatever for? And finally, just what does this image mean? Do you even need to think about that? Such a creature could never see the truth, let alone describe it. This witness certainly sits on one of the lowest possible branches of humanity. However, he would never utter a lie that could hurt a girl with whom he is enamored. He drew this, so it is something that actually happened. The defense stands firm on this point. Angie, thank you. That settles it then. I cannot give a verdict under these circumstances. Right. I seem to have fulfilled my part in this. It is just as I thought. Franziska von Karma, you make a wonderful partner. Excuse me? There was one reason, and one alone, for me being here. To expose the darkness lurking in this case, and then pass it on to right. Really? That's what this was all about? You could have just told me that from the very beginning, and I wouldn't have had Francie whipping up. Ouch! Miles Edgeworth, I don't care about what you were here to do. This was my chance to finally grind you under my heel. A shame that your chance seems to have slipped you by. What a shame, Francie! This is all your fault. Such a terrible witness. You are a front to the legal system. I demand satisfaction. I cannot believe that the witness's testimony relates to an actual event. However, there has to be some sort of answer for the questions it raises. Have his words here today been the truth or lies? Next time we gather in this courtroom, those are the matters that shall be addressed. I'm counting on thorough investigations by both the defense and the prosecution. And with this, the rest is up to you, right? Court is now adjourned. It was a little fast, but there were some snagging events like that battery problem I just had there. Yeah, it can't be helped. I know. I'm getting tired of it. But it's either Friday, Saturday, or maybe Sunday that I will finally finish this game. So, I guess there's no one else to go after right now other than, Hey, wait a minute. Yeah, I'm already set my mind on doing this anyway. As a fan of TMNT games, I figured I might as well do this. I want to raid Lord Pookums, who is currently doing a mini marathon of TMNT games, and he is currently on in Turtles in Time. So let's go with that. And I've been Iron Heady. Stay tuned for more Phoenix Wright shenanigans tomorrow. So long, see you, compadres.